Okay, I'm just waiting for some people to chime in here. Is this really working? You guys who are already on, let me know what the quality is like. If you can hear the sound and... Hey Jed, greetings from Austria. Nice. How's the visual stuff? Can you see the surroundings, and is the resolution okay? Nice. So this is the first episode, I guess, of Many TV. The the plan for this is to... I'm simply gonna do my hangboard session, and you guys can ask me some questions basically while I'm doing so, if you have any. And yeah, this is just basically the first test of a live stream. I played around with this in the past couple of weeks to find kind of an environment where I can do this, where the internet is good enough, and the I don't know, the setting is all right and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna introduce this a little bit here with my training past, so to say. I've been working on repeaters lately, and a couple of time ago I announced that I changed something in my training strategy also after this longer fast that I did. And basically what I changed is I went from a max strength focus in my training to more towards to a kind of a building, a hypertrophy training focus in my training. And of course, what that means in terms of hangboarding is that you're gonna switch from max hangs, basically from really short, super high intensity max hangs to repeaters, because there you get a higher number of repetitions in, and this is supposedly gonna help you to build muscle more effectively. Now, what we want to build here is, of course, forearms. That's why this stream is called Forearm Exploding Hangboard Session. And we're going to see if that works. Now, I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 repeater session in now at this point. And I did these 7 sessions over the course of the last 4 weeks, roughly. So that's roughly that's basically 2 sessions per week almost. And so far, I could increase the bonus weight every time with 2 kilograms, which is insane, okay? So I can show you here that my notes. I think you won't be able to read this because the resolution won't be high enough. But essentially here you have the sessions. Here you have my tick list, how many reps basically I could do. And I did not fail a single set so far, which is pretty amazing actually, because yeah, as I said, I always stepped it up with 2 kilograms, and today we are at a total weight at 93.6 kilograms. So I plan to stock this up the next time to 95 kilograms, and that's 10 kilograms more than when I started. No, that's actually 15 kilograms more than when I started. I started at 80.3 kilograms my sessions. So yeah, basically we're gonna try to do that. We're gonna see if we're gonna fail the first set today. Yeah, and then we're gonna see how it's going. So I just warm up here a little bit, and then I'm gonna check in with your questions, if there are any so far. We're gonna do this session on my suspended hangboard here that I have in the back. This is my finger shinda, and I'm gonna use the medium edge basically of the finger shinda, which is pretty much exactly 15 or 16 millimeters actually. So I'm just gonna do some warm-up hangs here. In terms of bonus weight, what we're gonna use, we're gonna use this little belt here of bonus weight. This on its own is, I think, we've got here a 4 kilogram kettlebell. This is 2.5 kilograms, another 4 kilogram, that's 12. plus 5, that's 17 kilograms here on this belt here. And then we've got additionally this backpack here full of beer, to be honest, which I'm not consume, of course. I'm not going to consume it, but I'm going to use this bonus weight. So all that in total, I already measured this weight. With my weight together, that sums up to 93.6 kilograms. And that's what we're going to use later on for the sets. So now I'm going to see if I already got some comments here. Hey Manny, any exercise in hangboard for beginners? First of all, I would say, have you already been hangboarding for have you already been climbing for 1 year at least? 2 years probably, to be honest. If you did that, okay, you can experiment with hangboarding. The first thing that I would do is I would simply check how long I can hang with all the different grip types, with all the different training grip types, which are essentially the three fingers open grip, the 4 fingers open grip, which somehow looks like this. Then we've got the half crimp, which is this guy here. And we're not gonna use the full crimp, of course, because that's really hard on our tendons and stuff like that, you know, as I already mentioned in previous videos, especially the gripping technique episode and stuff like that. So I would simply get myself a hangboard, of course. If you're new to hangboarding, I would say get a Beastmaker 1000 or get a Beastmaker 2000. Probably start with the 1000. But I personally find that the Beastmaker 2000 is the better hangboard. But it's my personal opinion. You can start with the 1000 and then you're gonna take the medium edges and simply check how long you can hang, basically in one piece, okay? Using these 3 different grip types. And then you're gonna know which one is your weakest grip type as well at the same time. So that's pretty practical. And that's what you're gonna do for your first hangboard session. You're gonna do this 1 hour, and you're gonna rotate through these different grip types, and then you're gonna see basically what's your weakest grip type and what you have to work on and stuff like that, you know. Hi from Barcelona, yeah. Hi from Austria. Also climbing in South Africa here, nice. Hi Manny, we meet this winter in Camp Piggy Poogie. Nice. Do you do hangboarding for max strength as well as repeaters? When I'm training for max strength, I don't do this with repeaters. I do it basically just with one-handed, sometimes supported, but I don't even support myself anymore. I do just one-handed max hangs, as I hold myself as long as possible on my training edge on one hand, basically. Then I shake out for like 10 seconds to the other hand, and then I'm gonna do another big rest. So nice. I'm gonna get another warm up hang in. Still can't believe that this is working, by the way. Because the router of this wireless LAN is actually quite far away. And I was debating if I should do it closer to the router, but then there I had no option to suspend this hangboard. So I just chose this setting here. I hope you like it. Let's do some pull-ups. Nice, feels good today. So for those of you who don't know, the edge that I'm using here is roughly 16 millimeter. In case you want to compare this with some stuff that you have, I think I'm gonna just do more hangs, more warm-up hangs, but this time I'm gonna use the bonus weight belt here already. Let's see how that feels. Cool. Okay. And it's going to be interesting. So the thing is, when it comes to handling insane amount of bonus weight, I have to do these repeaters with 2 hands still. I mean, of course, if you're super strong, you could try to make repeaters on one hand, just simply hang one-handed 7 seconds, then shake out this hand for 3 seconds, then hang one-handed again. But you gotta be a real beast to do that. So I'm still at the stage where I have to use both hands. But at the same time, in order to still be able to progress, I need to use insane amounts of bonus weight. So as I said before, I'm stacking my weight up in my total weight up today to 93.6 kilograms, which is going to be basically a new record attempt for me. My own weight at this point is roughly 63 kilograms. So we're talking about a bonus weight of 30 kilograms here. And it can become quite uncomfortable to train with such a high amount of bonus weight. So what you basically, my advice, if you want to do that on a hangboard, for those of you who are more advanced already, of course, I mean, I would not recommend this for any beginners, but for those who are advanced, if you want to handle these kinds of bonus weight, get as much bonus weight as possible to your hip belt and not in your backpack. Because if you're hanging and you have a lot of bonus weight in your backpack, the backpack is really going to pull down on your traps here, okay? And that's going to hurt with time on your neck and stuff. So, because first of all, I trained only with the backpack. And as I was stacking up the bonus weight, I realized, okay, I had to outsource some bonus weight from my backpack into a hip belt. And in the meantime, I've got more weight on the hip belt than on the backpack because it's much more comfortable. So yeah. Let's see if there are any new comments. Somebody told me if I train open grip, my half crimp will improve exponentially. Would you agree with that? If I train open grip, half crimp would improve exponentially. I would say it's the other way around, actually. If you're training your half crimp, you are going to train all the other grip types as well. That's my experience, at least. I actually only train half crimp in the meantime anymore. There was a time when I trained both half crimp and 3 fingers open, because these are both the opposite grip type, training grip types, for example, if you know what I mean. But in the meantime, I realized that if I only train the half crimp, I actually also make gains on the 3 fingers open grip. So I don't really separate these hangboard sessions anymore. I just train all time with the half crimp. That's my approach to this. How many pull-ups are you able to do? I think my record was back in Mexico. I had a phase where I only trained pull-ups for max repetition count, and my record was 25 or something. I'm not sure. Either it was 23 or 27. But the thing is, if you're getting above 20 repetitions, I have the feeling, it doesn't really matter anymore. If you're getting more repetitions, they all feel the same, and you're getting kind of sloppy, and you're using momentum and stuff like that. So it's not really clean pull-up anymore, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, somewhere along those lines, 20 repetitions. But yeah, max amount pull-ups don't really give you a lot of edge when it comes to climbing, I have the feeling. Love your videos, Manny. Do you recommend doing hangboard sessions without climbing? Of course, a nice 20 to 30 warm-up before the session. Yes, so that's basically what I'm doing here. I did not climb today. I might still climb in the evening, because actually I'm gonna work a little bit today in the climbing gym again. But I haven't climbed so far until now, so I'm just warming up here on the hangboard with a couple of hangs, and then I'm gonna get my session done. So yeah, why not? It's actually, yeah, it's not so bad. Well, no way. Servus aus Australien. Hey, servus aus Österreich. Any advice for a woman too weak for pull-ups? Get a good supporter. I mean, someone who assists you getting your weight up. Ideally, your your boyfriend, for example, or a climbing partner with whom you train or something. Because if you're getting some kind of random gym bro, he might grab your ass or any something like that. Who knows? But I mean, maybe you like that. I don't know. But you have to get a good supporter. You have to get someone who assists you, basically, and then you can build yourself up. And at some point, you're gonna be able to do it. Other ways to support yourself, if you're too shy to ask someone around or something, you can use your feet, of course, to support you. Maybe put a chair for support below you, below the pull-up bar, basically, or you use a Terra band or something like that, to support yourself. Wie gefällt dir die Hurtlooken? Ich habe dann immer 5 Ziege hintereinander. The Hurtlooken is a nice place. It's a climbing crag in Styria that I've been visiting a couple of times recently, and yeah, super steep climbing, super nice moves. I really enjoy it, actually. It's pretty nice. I already checked out some pretty hard stuff there, so yeah, when this rain stops. I mean, it has been raining yesterday and today all day long, so I think yeah, the weather should be better quite soon, and then I'm gonna get out there and try some stuff again. Have you ever bolted any route? Do you have any advice? To my shame, I have to admit that I did not bolt a single line so far. I really would like to do that in the future, but I would like to reach my athletic goals first, because then I have the feeling I would also be much more able to grade it properly, and get the grading on point. I have the feeling that a lot of routes that are bolted get bolted, and people who bolted are not often not able to make first ascents of it, depending on how hard it is, of course, and how strong the bolter is. But if I bolt something, I also really would like to be able to first ascent it. So yeah, I want to get strong enough to do that, basically. All right, so I think it's time to try the first set at 93.6 kilograms. So the first thing that I need for this, actually, before I start, is the online stopwatch. Sorry for the sound in the background. Some crazy thing is driving by here. Online stopwatch. So for those who have watched my videos on the repeaters, you already know that it's about 7 seconds hanging and 3 seconds resting. And we're going to repeat that for 6 times. So that amounts up to a set amount of time of 1 minute. And then we're going to take a bigger break of something. And you can watch me doing that, laughing about my crazy face that I'm going to make with these insane amounts of bonus weight here. All right. Feels great. So we're going to chalk up one last time. And go. That feels pretty heavy. Ooh, that's gonna be hard. Okay, one last time. All right. Okay, I have to correct myself. That actually felt easier than expected. So now I'm always going to take my brush brush the holes so that they don't get a lot worse with time. And put down the backpack. Damn, feels solid. So we're gonna clear the stopwatch, counting again, and I think we're gonna rest for 5 minutes, which is kind of a lot of resting time. If you're doing this without any bonus weight and for your first time or something, I would recommend less resting time actually, because then you're getting more pump basically, and you will also maybe get a better training stimulus. Okay, so let's see if there are any comments. I think I stopped here. Are pull-ups in Hangboard useful? Can I train them rather than doing simple hangs? Yes, actually, I think that pull-ups on the Hangboard are useful. You could try something that's called encores, which is basically the same pattern as repeaters. You do always 7 seconds hanging and 3 seconds resting. But by the way, guys, if you want to do this in an easier mode, you can also try something like 5 seconds hanging and 5 seconds resting, or 6 seconds hanging and 4 seconds resting. Okay, and work yourself up to 7 seconds hanging and 3 seconds resting, which is already kind of the hard mode. And while doing that, you can always do the first repetition on straight arms, second repetition on 90 degrees bent arms, third repetition fully locked off with the nose at the edge, and then start again. Fourth repetition straight arms, fifth repetition 90 degrees bent, sixth repetition fully locked off, nose at the edge. Because then you get also your upper body into the game, and you will get this really amazing kind of upper body pump as well while doing these repeaters. And I think this can help you in terms of lock of strength and stuff like that. So yeah, many greetings from Spain. Yo, greetings from Austria. Advice for climbing near Geneva. Whew. Sorry, man. I haven't been there. I have been there, but I didn't climb there, so I don't know any areas. During the max strength training period, would you recommend to use handlebars for weightlifting, for example? 4 sets each of 6 reps to push the max strength. Do you think it is helpful? Handlebars. What are handlebars for weightlifting? Is a handlebar this thing that you are using when you're doing these just normal, basically weightlifting? Sorry, I don't know what the handlebar translation is. Let's see if my dictionary knows that. Okay. I think I know what this stuff is. To be honest, lifting weights for climbing, to cover this topic as a whole, I think is pretty useless. If you're training anything else than campus boarding, hangboarding, pull-up bar, and climbing itself, which is still the most effective for 90% of the people, you probably want to do something body weight style. Okay, so if you're going on the pull-up bar, use your body weight. If you're doing something like calisthenics or the parallettes, for example, which is really good for body strength, for core strength, use your body weight. It's going to be still the most effective for most people. Servus, Mani. Congrats for climbing, Maritza. Thanks. So which beta did you choose at the Crocs? First, I tried the beta to the right, where you go over these super tiny crimps. But then I realized that this is actually the solution for the connection that comes from the right. I think there comes an 8A plus connection from the right. So in my on-site attempt, I went for the right beta, which is actually 8A plus or something, on really, really small crimps. I think if you're climbing Maritza the right way, you're using these only for footholds, but I was trying to climb through that, and there I fell on my on-site attempt. And then I tried it, I checked it out like this, actually, tried it again and fell again. And then someone told me that this is actually the wrong beta and this is much harder, that I have to go on the left basically in the crux, which I did. And then I basically sent it immediately. Such an awesome route, by the way. Such an awesome route. What do you think? Oh, I already need to get another set in. Sorry, I'm gonna answer the question soon. Yes. That's always the most painful thing, getting the hip belt on actually. So let's see how the second set goes. There we go. So if you can, don't use a suspended hangboard like this, because it's gonna wobble around and move around. It's gonna really make it hard to grab it again after a repetition, and that costs you some seconds. Good Lord, that's hard. One more time. Okay, but it's still possible. Quite surprised actually, because in my last session it was really, really close that I failed my sets, and I had the feeling, okay, if I step it up one more time, I'm for sure gonna fail. But this still feels quite solid actually. Quite happy about it. Okay, so let's clear the stopwatch. Then we're gonna make another mark here. So that's 2 sets already. I always go for 7 to 8 sets, depending on how I feel per repeater session. Because I have the feeling that at this point, then I'm gonna hit the wall, and to go beyond that, it doesn't really make sense, in my opinion. It's better to conserve the energy and therefore be able to do the next session sooner. You know what I mean? So another thing is, in my last session, the bonus weight felt so heavy that I actually ripped open. Let me see if I can show you this here. I ripped open a little split here on my middle finger on the right hand. And this feels quite healed already. But I was also nervous that I'm going to open it up again this session because, yeah, again, I increased the bonus weight even more. But it's holding up. It's quite nice. So, yeah, going good this session, going good. So let's see where I left off with the comments. By the way, I'm sorry if you're not super entertained by this live stream. This is the first time that I'm doing it. So I just basically wanted to test if this actually works. And it does, which is amazing. It's amazing what YouTube can do with such a bad internet connection. I was so sure that the internet connection would be too bad to pull this off, but somehow it works. What do you think how important index finger strength is? When I focus on using index finger, I feel I can't use back muscle. Really? So using your index finger makes you lose your back muscles or what? I don't think so. But what I do think is the index finger is important for pinching, okay? And obviously the thumb as well, but strong index fingers are strong pinchers in my experience, because it's also this muscle here in your hand, which is kind of which is doing a lot with the index finger, you know. So yeah, definitely helps for pinching in my experience. But yeah, it's really, I think, which fingers are the strongest in your hands is kind of genetic. Depends on the anatomy and the structuralization of your forearm muscles or something like that. But yeah, that's what I can say to that. I'm so envious. Hey Manny, I have been doing a lot of indoor climbing the past few months. I want to climb outside, but the staff at my gym said the closest place is 4 hours away. Damn. How can I find someone to teach me? Well, the internet is your friend. Look for any climbing groups or stuff like that. I mean, even if your place is 4 hours away, is it a big place? Then go there for a whole weekend maybe and sleep in your car. Get to know some people and climb with those. How much carry over the one arm, the OAC? What's the OAC? I guess it's the one arm chin up maybe? As to bouldering, in your opinion? The one arm pull up or one arm chin up? I think the one arm lock off power when it comes to climbing performance, not a lot, unfortunately, because upper body is one of my strengths. I have the feeling, but the one arm power is much less important than finger strength. Okay, finger strength is still number one. One arm pull up power and upper body power in general is going to help you a lot in very, very overhanging climbs, obviously, because then you get a lot of body strength in and not a lot of core tension and stuff like that. And there also your lats and one arm pulling power is going to help you a lot with clipping the quick draws and stuff. And also, of course, with overhanging boulders. But other than that, finger strength is the way to go, man. Servus Manny, what's the name of the 9A route that you're trying? I tried Erfolg ist trainierbar in the Athletscrim. Hi Manny, greetings from Italy. Who are your idols? When it comes to climbing, I need to get another set in already. Sorry. I'm gonna answer this in a second. All right, there we go. Okay. So for those who are new to the stream, I'm hanging here with 93.6 kilograms. Repeaters. So that means it's roughly 30 kilograms of bonus weight. Okay. It's getting hard here. Whew. Damn, son. Damn. Good Lord. Get my brush. So I left the hangboard in the rain for a little bit, which did not do any good, so much I can tell. I hope it's not gonna be ruined when it's gonna dry. So that was another repetition. So we already have 3 reps. I think I'm gonna go for 6 or 7 reps in this session. Also because I don't have time forever. So afterwards, I need to hit the gym actually for some work. This live stream already going strong for 35 minutes. Cool. Who are your idols? If you have following this channel for some time, then you for sure already seen me talking great about Ondra. Adam Ondra is one of my favorite climbers simply because I have the feeling that he uses his head a lot. And actually, you know, some time ago when he was really thin and, you know, he had the perfect teenager genetics, so to say, for the climbing. And I'm pretty sure he also had some of the best finger strengths back then. But now that he's gotten a little bit heavier and stuff, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who have more finger strength and more, how should I say, physical conditioning for climbing actually. But still, he is able to pull off the best results. And because he's using his head so much, I mean, he has very good strategy. He has very good movement. He's very good technique. I mean, of course, this is has also something to do with experience and muscle memory and stuff like that. But I don't know. He's just an amazing climber, and he does not only do it with being super lean and super. I mean, he is super lean and strong, of course, but he's also not super light. Okay, so yeah, that's why I really like his style, because he's so fast and determined and aggressive. It's really nice to watch. How much did you progress in your first year or two of climbing? My first year or two of climbing, I don't even know how much I progressed because I did not go outdoors in my first 2 years. I actually visited the outdoors for the first time when I already was into climbing for 3 years or something. I was in my bouldering gym for like 3 years. And then I met someone who also went outdoors occasionally, and he said, "Hey, man, you're looking quite talented. Don't you want to go with me sometime? And we're gonna check out some cracks and stuff." And that's basically when I got into outdoor climbing, and primarily into outdoor rope climbing. Actually, I didn't do any outdoor bouldering for a very long time. Yeah, so I don't know how much I progressed in my first 2 years because that was solely indoors, and we didn't even have grading system or anything like that back then in this climbing gym that I'm still training at. So now we've got all this stuff with color boulders, and we also grade them when we set them, and so, you know, we can kind of get a feeling for progression indoors if you're only at this gym, which was not the case back then. When in your climbing life did you start hangboarding? At which skill level do you think it is beneficial to start hangboarding? I personally started hangboarding, I think, after like 4 years or even 5 years. I went without anything else than climbing for a relatively long time. At least when I watch modern people doing the sport, you know, the modern people, they want to start hangboarding after 3 months of bouldering or stuff like that. It got kind of popularized probably also through YouTube and videos and stuff like that. I still advise most people climb at least like 1 year or 2 years even before you touch a hangboard. Some people then argue, man, I got so strong already and so quickly. I'm already I already can boulder like 7A or stuff after 1 year. Can I start hangboarding? And then I would say, keep climbing, because when you keep climbing, you're gonna progress even faster and even higher until you need your hangboarding. Okay, so that's the thing. Even if you're progressing really fast at the beginning, that doesn't mean that you should start hangboarding earlier. It only means that you have a good constitution for the sport, and maybe that you're very young and you're adapting quite fast, which is good, of course. But use this momentum to get even more meters on the climbing wall especially outdoors, if you want to become a good outdoor climber. 3 years maybe into your climbing. Can you advise some training books? 9 out of 10 climbers do the same mistakes. Best best book written about climbing, I think, in my opinion. Hi, Manny. Where would you like to go for your next climbing trip? I'd really like to go to Norway, actually. I'm already a little bit late in this season for this realization. That's quite unfortunate. So that's going to happen maybe next year if I find the time in the summer season, especially during the time when it's too hot to climb here in Austria, because it can get pretty hot here in Austria, actually, up to 35 degrees or something. We had a period of this time during the past month. Now it's getting colder again. So autumn is coming. You can really feel it, and that means that peak season in Austria here is coming again. So I will stay here for some time now. And in the winter, I'm maybe checking out another spot to the south, maybe something like Croatia would be cool to discover, or maybe again Greece or Spain, who knows, not so sure. I just started now watching the stream. How many kilos is Manny adding? 30 kilograms roughly. By the way, I need to get another set in. Let's do this. So again, I hope it's somehow entertaining. This is the first stream that I'm gonna do. Kind of a test of this feature. And actually, I just want to see if my internet is strong enough here to be able to do stuff like that. And obviously it is, which is amazing. All right, time for another set. 5, 6, 7, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh. Oh man. And one more time. Oh, it's getting really hard, man. Oh, it's getting really hard. And slowly the split is opening up again as well. Whew. So that's 93.6 kilograms repeaters on a 16 millimeter edge, the medium edge of the finger shingle that I have here, suspendable hangboard. Going strong. Pretty happy with these results, I have to say. Fourth set, not a single set failed so far. So we're gonna reset the stopwatch. There we go. And back to the live stream. See the comments. 44 minutes in already. If you have 7A but you're still progressing, you shouldn't start hangboarding. If you're still, I mean, look, it doesn't matter how fast you progress in the beginning. If you're progressing super fast in the beginning just by climbing, be happy with it and keep going. Use this momentum to really reach your potential. Reach your potential without hangboarding. That's your first goal. Reach your potential without hangboarding, basically. That's gonna take you like 3 years or something of climbing only, and then you can think about hangboarding. And when you think about hangboarding for some time, then you maybe in the future can think about some campus boarding, maybe, because that's even more intense on your fingers and on your structures. So you really, the thing is, you want to build up these structures first, and these tendons, pulleys in your fingers and stuff like that. And climbing is just simple climbing, especially outdoor climbing, is going to do that in a very unique way, because each route is different and each climbing hold is different, and each climbing hold is going to cause different little stresses in your joints and in your tendons, okay? And so overall, all these meters that you get in this time, because you're not hangboarding, you're actually going to climb, all these meters that you get in are gonna make your hands adapt, gonna make your fingers adapt, your forearms stuff. So that's what it's all about, man. Get this adaptation in first, and then start hangboarding. Man, I'm pretty out of breath here. These repeaters are hardcore. Do you use any products to take care of your hands? No. I just use sandpaper, basically. I tried Climb On for some time, but doesn't give you any advantage. It didn't give me any advantage. Neither in skin recovery or skin healing when I was open, or I don't know. No, I don't use any products at this point. Just sandpaper. Manny, I reached a plateau at 8A in rock climbing. What to do to progress faster? How long are you climbing already? What style was the 8A in? What are your weaknesses? All these questions, they are really important, much more important than I reached a certain grade. What is the most important thing to progress from that grade to the next grade? It's going to be different from person to person, depending on what climbing style you have and stuff. The best thing still is to at least know your weaknesses, okay, and then try to make them better. I mean, you can't waste, this is another thing that I've realized in the meantime, you cannot waste a lot of time just focusing on your weaknesses all the time, okay? You might be, I mean, you can, by doing this, you can get your weaknesses to some level, but they're still gonna be your weaknesses, okay? Maybe you are just a short climber. You're not gonna grow, okay? You're not gonna get more reach. No matter what you do, you can increase your dynamic, for example, to be able to jump higher and increase your reach that way. But it's still always going to be your weakness compared to someone who's really tall, okay, for example. So the better strategy in the long run, and especially if you're working really close to your limit already, oh man, these chickens. If you're really close to your limit already, try to learn how to work around your weaknesses, okay? That's gonna give you another edge. I have the impression, at least. Sorry for the noise in the background. We are here on the countryside. And I'm gonna try to close that here. Okay, that doesn't really help a lot. Good to wake up to this intense fingerboard session. Amazing that they just woke up. Which age is the best to start hangboarding? I wouldn't start hangboarding if I was still like 10 years old or something like that, okay? If your fingers and stuff are still developing, we can discuss even if super hardcore climbing is healthy at a very young age, you know? When you're still in the growing phase and stuff. I'm not so sure if it's completely without consequences on your fingers and tendons if you're I mean, on the other hand, you're super light when you're very young. So the inputs that you get into these structures are at least not that high, at least not as high if you're grown up already. On the other hand, your structures are still growing. So who knows what the impact is? To be honest, I didn't start very early. I started when I was like 16 or 17 years old or something. And I definitely didn't start with hangboarding. The first hangboard session I had was maybe at around 20 or something, 3 years in. So yeah, to be on the safe side, I would recommend here to not start hangboarding if you're still in the growing phase. So maybe you can start when you're 17 or something like that. I already need to get another set in. Damn, I always overlook the stopwatch. Getting lost in those comments. So let's get those bonus weight on. So for those who are new to the stream, this is a repeater hangboard session, and we're working with 30 kilograms of bonus weight here, 7 seconds hanging, 3 seconds resting, 6 repetitions per set. So that means we've got a total time per set of 1 minute. And the edge that I'm using is 16 millimeters. My total weight, including my body weight, is 93.6 kilograms, which is a new personal best for me, actually. So let's try to get it done one more time. So we're starting at 50 this time. Damn. Isn't that amazing? Nice background noise. It's getting really hard again, man. He keeps cheering me on. One more time. Done. Nice. Whew. He's losing balance here. Boom. So what's the purpose of this? The purpose of this is to build forearms, okay? I don't know if you can see that, but the pump is insane that you will get from these. Where's my brush now? Yeah, I lost my brush again. Doesn't matter. Let's just make a mark. So that was the 5th set. We're gonna go for 7 or 8 this session. Let's clear the stopwatch. Although we ignore it all the time anyway. There's my brush. Here's my chalk bag. Don't forget to brush, of course, because otherwise that edge is going to get worse and worse with time. And it's going to be harder and harder to hang on it. 54 minutes already with this stream. Crazy. One more time, I have to say I'm so happy that this actually works, because my internet out here is so bad, and it's amazing what YouTube can do with such a bad internet. Hey man, what is the best way to go from inside climbing to outside rock climbing? Some tips? Get someone who has experience already, who knows these surrounding areas maybe, who knows which routes are easy for the grade, hard for the grade, who knows which routes are scary and stuff. And then let yourself be guided a little bit. And this should give you the best start, so to say, into outdoor climbing. And it's going to give you some confidence real quickly. Also, maybe he or she is also stronger than you already, so you can learn from them. And you will find that outdoor climbing is, if you never did outdoor climbing and only indoors so far, then you're going to find that outdoor climbing is actually a lot different than indoor climbing, okay? Because you don't have color boulders, colored problems or stuff like that. So you actually need to find the holes yourself. Sometimes they are quite hard to find. You have to look for chalk spots and stuff like that. So it's also a lot different in terms of reading. Damn, the split is opening up again, because of course, as you get weaker during the session, you pull on your skin more and more, and then it can happen that you're opening up some splits. By the way, do you know Paolo Caruso? No. His method is famous here in Italy, and it really helps on climbing. Gotta look him up, Paolo Caruso. I don't know him. Manny, you have been very inspirational for me in my climbing. I was wondering if you thought it would be more beneficial to train the hangboard for max finger strength or train power with campus board. Both can be very beneficial. That's what I can tell you about that. I sometimes do both during a certain phase of training. Okay, not so much at the moment, because I have the feeling that when I campus board, I mostly do it for max power purposes, and I'm actually at the moment at a little bit of a hypertrophy phase, so I don't do it at the moment. But yeah, for max power, simply doing some max reaches, some maximum hard over reaches and stuff like that. That's gonna help you a lot with max strength. The hangboard just as well as the campus board. Is there any sense in the hangboard given one's potentially unlimited access to wall, rock? Good question, man. There are probably really, really strong climbers out there. I mean, for sure. I know some of them. There are some really, really strong climbers out there who never touched a hangboard. If you have unlimited access to rock climbing, bouldering, as well as rope climbing, you probably don't need a hangboard. Especially if you have some good bouldering spots with lots of different problems, with lots of tiny assholes, you also gotta have the thing with a hangboard is that it compensates for privilege, if you know what I'm saying. Even if you have unlimited access to rock around you because you have a lot of good areas, do you have unlimited time also to visit all these places every day? Because then, of course, you really don't need a hangboard. The thing is, most people don't have time to do that. A hangboard session is super easy to do. You don't even have to leave your house or leave your flat to do a hangboard session if you have a hangboard suspended in your home, okay, in your apartment maybe. So that's the thing with a hangboard. We want to basically mimic an outdoor session or get something in that's as effective as a climbing session with a hangboard. And yeah, that's in my opinion what the hangboard is for. You can do some funny stuff with one-armed hangs and stuff like that on the hangboard that you can't really replicate on rock or somewhere else. So if you want to compare your finger strength to someone else's finger strength, it can be kind of a useful tool. But outside of that, man, it's really just a compensation for privilege. The less privilege you have, the less time you have, the more you're going to need a hangboard if you really want to reach your potential in finger strength. And therefore in climbing. Hey Manny, how is it going, man? Any climbing trips planned this fall, winter? You should come to Asia. Man, Asia is far away. But yeah, it would be interesting to visit Asia at some point. I'm definitely gonna do another climbing trip this winter. For debate, there are Spain again, Greece again, and something like Croatia, for example. I think that would be a nice place to visit as well. Hey, many greetings from Switzerland. Greetings from Austria. How often can I train fingerboard if I boulder climbing 3 times a week in addition? It's very simple, man. If you want to see some serious results, you can't really do less often than once per week. And if you don't want to injure yourself, you can't really do more often than 2 times per week. So I would always stay in between those two realms, okay? 1 time per week and 2 times a week. Let's be honest here, you gotta stay consistent, okay? So you have to set goals which you can realistically reach. If you're saying you're doing it 2 times a week, that's the most that I can realistically reach at this point, because I have a very unregular schedule at the moment, So I can't even get more in than 2 times a week, really, even if I wanted to. And also in combination with other training, I always do hangboard sessions in front of my rest days. So there are kind of some, and I always do it after my actual climbing, because I think the actual climbing is more important. So you see, there are some variables there when it comes to hangboarding, and I want to met these. So yeah, I would say start with once a week and try work yourself up to 2 times a week, maybe. Try to not get injured, and yeah, see what you can do, basically. I need to get another set in. Man, I always overlook the stopwatch. It's really interesting to do this with you guys, answering some questions in my rest, and then going for another set. You know, it's really funny. I always feel less articulate is the word that I'm looking for, just when I come off the hangboard and finished my set, basically, because obviously I created some lactate and this goes into my brain and then I can think so clearly. I always get more quickly with talking and stuff the longer my rest takes, so that's interesting. 30 kilograms bonus weight, 7 seconds hanging, 3 seconds resting, 6 times to amount up to 1 minute per set, and a total weight including my body of 93.6 kilograms. Let's get started. Nice. Okay, that's 2 and 3. 3 more times. It's getting hard again. And the last one. Oh, yes, baby. Okay. Feels hard, but I'm actually not even close to falling. So I'm really happy about that. I was actually expecting to fail my first set this session, because as I said in the beginning, I increased my weight with 2 kilogram increments over the past couple of 3 weeks or something. Started with 80 kilograms and I'm now up to 93.6 kilograms. Next time I'm gonna try 95 kilograms if it's going like this, if it's going so good like this. I'm gonna reset the stopwatch. Let's make another mark. So we've got 6 reps already. 6 sets, I mean. We're gonna go for another 2. And then I think we're done with this session. And then I think we're also done with this stream. 1 hour already. Man, the time flies by doing this. Let's see where we left off with the comments. You're such a nice climber and I love your methodical approach, man. He's super nice. Reconsider your choice of eating animal products. Check out nutritionfacts.org, 100% science only. Man, let's touch on this topic for... I know nutritionfacts.org, obviously. First of all, I want to say I'm still a very plant-based eater, okay? I'm not full into the animal products craze now and only eat animal products or stuff like that. But I also do eat some animal products, and I still eat, like, I don't know, I think 90% of my calories actually still come from plant foods. Yeah. So I just added in back a little bit of animal products. That's basically what I'm trying. That's basically what I'm experimenting with. And to be honest, I'm seeing great results, okay? I've talked on this channel a lot already about science in the context of nutrition and why I think that it's not a very good tool, the scientific approach to analyze the situation accurately when it comes to nutrition, because we have to realize here that both sides of the spectrum, okay, and I'm not talking about the 10% animal products, 90% plant foods. I'm talking about the 100% animal products end of the spectrum and 100% plant products, plant products end of the spectrum. Both of these camps have really good arguments and in addition have really good science. I mean, it can't be that good science, really, okay, if it completely contradicts itself. But both of these have science to back up their claims. So as a normal person, what you're going to do with that, it's basically an open decision, okay? You can try either and see what works for you, what works the best. You have to do this via experimenting. Both sides have very good arguments and have very good science. Very good science. Have science, okay? It is still science, and that's why I don't cite a lot of science, okay? I could say one thing. I could say eating cholesterol causes heart attacks, and pull up science that support my claim. And I could say eating no cholesterol at all causes heart attacks as well. Okay, and I could still get science to support that as well. I could say cholesterol doesn't really increase the heart attack risk at all. Okay, the argument of the animal product eaters in this context, just to give you a little bit of what I think about this at the moment. They say that it's actually systemic inflammation that causes atherosclerosis, and then the cholesterol goes there and goes to these little cracks, which are cracks basically in your arteries, in your veins, which are essentially caused by extremely high blood sugar swings and extremely high inflammation. And cholesterol goes there and tries to heal it up. Actually, okay, these little cholesterol molecules, they are kind of making the cell membranes more liquidy, okay? They make it more plastically formable, so to say. And it's basically trying to patch up these little cracks in your arteries, but cholesterol is not the bad guy here, okay? Cholesterol is only the guy who tries to heal this thing up. The bad guy is actually the systemic inflammation, which is probably caused by blood sugar swings and stuff like that. Okay, so that's an argument. And of course, these cholesterol patches, they get bigger and bigger. Then calcium goes there and it's going to calcify, and then it's going to harden, and at some point it's going to rip off, and then it's causing a heart attack or a stroke, basically. So that's the argument of the other side of the camp. And I think it's also kind of a logical explanation, okay? It explains why people who are eating 100% animal products, and these are out there, do not die instantly or after a year or something, which they should, according to the theory that cholesterol causes heart attacks. Okay, because they smashing in the cholesterol on a daily basis, and they still not getting clogged up. So there's something fishy going on here. You know what I'm saying? I rather trust my body and trust the findings that I have with my experiments. And I have to be honest here, the thing that I'm doing at the moment works better for me than the thing that I did in the past. And I have very good indicators for that. For example, we all have our genetical weaknesses when it comes to health. My genetical weakness is my skin, okay? I tend to get little breakouts, especially on my back and sometimes also on my face. And my skin has never been better than in the past couple of months, actually, okay? And people even notice that on the videos and stuff. So, and I notice it as well. So there's gotta be some stuff going on here that helps me doing that and getting greater skin. And also on the climbing skin, and digestion is better, recovery is better, the gains are going strong, man. Talking about gains, man, I still gotta get another set in already. There are a lot of comments actually already have been inspirational. Let's see here. Hey, would you ever experiment with some extended keto periods combined with training? I have found it helps eliminating being pumped. Interesting that it helped you with the pump. Once my body has become used to having low glyco. Keto. My honest opinion about keto, although I have never been completely keto adapted in my whole life, okay, so I gotta disclaim that here right away. If you are an athlete who's serious about reaching his potential, I unfortunately think it's not gonna happen on keto. Even if you're completely keto adapted, it's just in the nature of these fuel molecules, okay? If you're keto, you're running on fat. And fat is a little bit of a slower molecule. Your body first has to convert these fats into ketone bodies. These ketone bodies then go fuel your brain. In your muscles, actually, fats can be burned directly and converted into ATP via a process called beta oxidation, I think. And you can generate some energy from that. But you're not gonna generate this quick, fast, explosive energy, okay? You're gonna generate the energy that you're gonna need to run a marathon, for example. I'm pretty sure you can run a marathon on ketosis, no problem. But are you gonna be able to pull off these crazy max strength moves that you're gonna need when you're climbing, for example, a boulder at your limit grade? I'm not so sure if that's going to happen on ketosis, okay? And even those people who were completely keto adapted, I have seen some videos about that topic actually, and even they say it has a lot of, being in ketosis has a lot of health benefits in general, seems to have a lot of health benefits in general, I have to say. But when it comes to athletic performance, you really can only do these very endurance-y things, okay? Running a marathon, doing cycling, maybe a little bit into the realm of power endurance or stuff. But when it comes to the real explosiveness, man, the quick, speedy movements, also thinking fast. When I'm in ketosis, in fasting, forced ketosis, actually, when I'm doing my fasting experiments, I can feel how my brain is slower, okay, than compared to having actually access to sugar, okay, having access to glycogen. And it's also in the nature of these molecules, okay? Fats are much more energy dense. They need a much more complex enzymatic machinery to actually get burned, okay? So I don't know. To be honest, I would still have to experience a phase of complete keto adaptation to be able to give a comprehensive review on that topic, basically. Hey Manny, thank you very much for your trust in the Film Machine. It's really appreciated by the carpenters and me, of course. Great to see you more and more in the Grazer Bergland. Thanks, man. Thanks. It's a pleasure to me. It's a great tool, great device. Like it a lot. How many days a week are you training with Hangboard and Boulder? You do both in the same days, always separately? Complex question. I need to get another set in. This guy, he wants to remind me that I need to get another set in, actually. So for those who joined recently, we're doing a repeater hangboard session here. We're hanging for 7 seconds, resting for 3 seconds. Do that 6 times to add up to 1 minute of time per set. The bonus weight that I've got hanging on my hips here and in the backpack amounts up to 30 kilograms. I myself weigh around 63 kilograms at this point, so we have a total weight of 93.6 kilograms, actually, to be exact. And this is a new personal best. We already got 6 sets in, I think. So let's see how it goes now. I'll wait 10 more seconds. Let me start. There we go. Oh man. Okay, feeling good. 3 more times. Holy crap, man. One last time. Damn, son. Whew. I think it really helps to have you guys around here. Maybe I would have given up already if there wouldn't be an audience. Oh. God damn. Brushing the edge. The edge that we're gonna use, that we are using this session, is around 16 millimeters. For those who'd like to know, who are interested, I'm gonna clear the stopwatch and back to the comments. So that was set number 7. We're gonna do one more, and then I need to go, unfortunately, already. And I'm also gonna finish this live stream, the first live stream, man, of this channel. Amazing that it works. It's the first test of this awesome feature. So yeah. How many days a week are you training with Hangboard? Maximum 2 times a week. And boulder. At the moment I do very little bouldering. I do a lot of outdoor climbing, actually indoor rope climbing, because this is what the gym offers that I'm at this point, that I'm attending at this point sometimes. So, yeah, I gotta get the camera to this place and film some training sessions actually at some point. How many millimeters in your hole? 16 millimeters. You both on the same days or always separately? Sometimes on the same days, sometimes separately. Hello from Michigan, new rock climber here. Just started watching your vids. Hey, from Austria. That's why the rooster is crowing, to remind you that it's time to start a new set. Yeah, that's true. Is there gonna be the Mission 9A training series? I hope so, man. Like the one you did with the V13 project. I hope so, man. I hope so. Still gotta wait a little bit until the conditions get better, because at the moment it's raining like crazy actually, and it's still quite warm. I hope for a good autumn this year so far. Actually, one of the best climbing years that we had so far in Austria. Not so wet, a lot of good, dry, relatively cool days. Even in the summer, there were periods where it was cold enough to climb outside. So good year so far, man. I'm hoping for a good autumn, and then I'm gonna attack die 9A. Hey Manny, hast du einen Tipp für eine lohnende 8A nähe Wien? Die hängenden Gärten der Semiramis in die Adlitskrim. Check it out. So how long should you be climbing before you start training specifically for climbing? Man, it's individually different, but I would say with things like stretching and antagonist work, okay, like core strength, shoulder stability, elbow stability, like, you know, pushing stuff, antagonists to pulling, because that's what you mainly do when you're climbing, you're pulling. Pushing and stuff. Start as early as possible with all these things, okay? When it comes to climbing specific training like hangboarding, campus boarding, pull-up bar, all that stuff, wait, okay? Wait until you're really plateauing by just climbing. That's what I would say. How do you decide between doing max hangs or repeaters on the hangboard? When I'm plateauing really hard, I change things up on the hangboard. Simple as that. So when I have the feeling, yeah, when I was doing this rooster. When I was doing my max hangs recently, I just plateaued, you know. I had good sessions, then I had bad sessions which were worse than my good sessions before. And if it's going like this, and it's not really going straight up all the time, then I change things up. And also with my repeaters here, I have my sheet of paper here. Every single repeater session that I did so far during this hypertrophy phase, I wrote down on the same sheet of paper so that I can see the progress. Okay, I can see the progress. And so far, I always increased my weight by 2 kilograms every single session. And so far, I did not fail a single set, which is insane, actually. It's a lot of good progress occurring here. And once I will start failing sets, I will keep going, try to push it a little bit further, and when I get into the stage where the previous session was better than my current session, and then I get a good session again, and then I get a bad session again, 3 times like this, then I'm going to jump back onto max hangs. That's my plan. Does this build forearm muscle? Yes, my friend, it does. It does. The pump is great. Is there any way you mentally train for your climbing? Maybe you should make a video on that. I'm preparing for hard competitions. Breathing, decrease your general stress in your life, I guess. There's a lot of good things you can do. Breathing especially, man. Breathing is a big one. If you're suffering from fear, anxiety, like nervousness, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of falling, maybe a little bit still there. If it's still there, I mean, if you're a competition climber, then you don't have that anymore. But fear of failure or fear from the audience, maybe, or you're nervous in general, breathing. Breathing is key, man. Slow, deep breaths. After training, do you cool your arms with ice water? No. Hey, I'm trying to a hangboard session while listening to your live. How much rest in between the sets? I would have liked to make 5 minutes in between sets, but then I wouldn't get to any questions. There are much too many questions. So I'm usually at this point, I'm doing like 7 minutes all the time, roughly. But yeah, I can recommend 5 minutes if you're training with heavy ass bonus weight. If you're training with no bonus weight at all, I would start with like 3 minutes or something, 2 to 3 minutes in between your repeater sets. Then you're still engaging the next set with a little bit of pump, and that's just right. Hey from Sydney, I tried my first ever bouldering session outdoors yesterday and did a V1. Would you ever want to come to Australia for climbing? Man, Australia is so far away, but I would love to see the Grampians and stuff like that. Would be really cool, but it's so far away. Aiming for a 7 to 8 set. No, yeah, thanks. Yeah, Manny, I love the live. Keep it up, please. A good job. It jumps down on the comments all the time, so I need to scroll up back and need to find it again. We still gotta work things out here with this live streaming stuff. Okay, this is a test run. For those who don't know, I just want to test if my internet is good enough to do that. I have to have a setting. And unfortunately, this is going to be the last one. We're already 1 hour and 20 minutes into the stream. Another question is, should I put this stream on the channel right afterwards, actually? Since this is the first live test stream, so to say, I think I'm gonna do it just for the heck of it. Even though it's not super professional, but that's the cool thing about it. It's kind of authentic, I like it that way. So that's 30 kilograms of bonus weight, total weight 93.6 kilograms. We are doing 7/3 seconds repeaters. That means 7 seconds hanging, 3 seconds resting. We're gonna wait until the clock hits a round number, and then we're gonna start. There we go. Feeling still great. getting hard again. 2 more times. Oh my God, that was close already. Boom. Boom. Still no failed set. Oh man, the split has opened back up again. But no problem, because I'm now finished anyway. So I'm gonna get into a couple of more questions here, and then I'm gonna finish the session off with some cool down pull-ups. Man. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 sets done at a total weight of 93.6 kilograms on the finger shinda medium edge, which is roughly 16 millimeters. Solid. Next time we're gonna go for the 95 kilograms, I think. Holy crap. You see the upwards trend is still holding on. That means I can keep the method, okay? If the upwards trend starts to plateau, we're gonna change the method. Gonna go back to max hangs. So yeah, it's going great. Man, it always jumps down on the comments. Let's see if we can find it. How do you maintain your body energy throughout the day with a vegan keto diet? Didn't you get any sugar cravings after working out? I never did a really vegan keto diet. I always did the high carb approach, which is, I think, kind of good if you're an athlete, because you actually use all these carbs up, okay? Thing about carbs for athletes, the way how I see it nowadays, carbs are a necessary evil, because only carbs are going to give you this super explosive, quick energy that you need for your rapid, fast, max power moves, okay? Especially when it comes to bouldering, for example, in the climbing context. But they are a necessary evil. If you don't use them up, for someone who's not an athlete, for example, and smashing carbs all the time, they are actually causing some troubles in your body. And that's the way how I see it nowadays, okay? Carbs can cause some troubles in your body if you don't use them up by being an athlete. That's how much I'm gonna say to that. Yo, Manny, I've learned a ton from you. Is your fault for my success. Great to hear that, man. I have climbed my first 7C route last week. I climbed for 1.5 years. Wow, that's good. That's really good. You think it's smart to continue so hard since my tendons are still weak? How old are you? Do you have any pain? Do you have any problems? If you don't have any pain, go for it. You see, the thing is, there's a couple of people out there who say you should never get injured, and injury is gonna throw you back. So how I see it nowadays is if you never get injured, okay, then you're not really, I mean, you can progress without getting injured, but in climbing, it's just a sad fact that all these tendons and joints, they lag behind your muscle development. So if you're developing forward in your muscle development, which is of course good, then at some point, sooner or later, you're gonna get injured, okay? If you're not a super genetic tendon freak and started like with 5 years old or something, okay? And you had the opportunity to adapt your tendons and stuff from a really early age, which brings maybe other problems, okay? If you're starting so early with such high impacts, but some people tend to do it quite well despite that. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody, but some people tend to tolerate it quite well. But anyway, if you're never getting injured, who knows? I mean, I've got this little golfer elbow at the moment, still in my left hand. It's getting better and better with time, and I still can train full gas on the hangboard, no problem. But it tells me, yes, I got stronger again. Okay, obviously I got stronger again in my left hand. Actually, I know exactly from where this is coming, from the 8B boulder. Actually, with the crux move on the 8B boulder, which was a lock off from a really, really tiny edge with the left hand into this shoulder crimp. And from this, I think I got this golfer elbow. Now, I got stronger in my left hand to be able to do this move in the first place, and that's why I developed this injury. Now, if I wouldn't have gotten stronger in the first place, I probably also wouldn't have gotten injured. So it's kind of reflecting that I got stronger, this injury, and it's of course a good thing. So, and now that it's healing, it's actually going to create a stronger structure, a stronger tendon down there and a stronger bone down there, okay, where this muscle attaches. So it's gonna make you stronger. So getting these, as long as you're not ripping anything off suddenly, with a stupid move or something like that, getting injured is not necessarily a bad thing. It also can be kind of an insurance that you're actually progressing, that you're actually getting stronger, at least when it's something that comes over time and then goes again over time, okay? Like these overstrains, these little tendon aches and stuff like that. What are your favorite climber for Innsbruck World Cup? I don't know, man. I still gotta look into that. How do we know you're actually lifting your feet? Good question, man. Maybe I'm faking this stuff all the time here. Maybe I'm faking it, who knows? Bring back efficient cook segments with your updated meat edition dietary guidelines. I'm still debating doing that. You see, the thing is, right now, I said this early on the stream already, but I had no problem repeating it. It's not like I'm going completely meathead here, okay? Still, 90% of my calories come from plant foods. I'm pretty sure about that. So I still cook vegan meals. I'm still very plant-based, but I'm also adding in a couple of animal products here and there. Now the thing is, if my audience is probably very climbing based and not so much vegan based, okay? Because I dropped the vegan thing kind of a long time ago when I changed the name of this channel, and because I didn't want it to be about that anymore, I wanted it to be about climbing, okay? So I don't know how the nutrition of my audience looks like, okay? But most people, in my opinion, in the Western world are still consuming too much meat, actually. So it's kind of a problem for me to advertise like eating meat and stuff like that, okay? I don't want to do that, actually. I want to... That's why I have a little bit of a problem with showing me eating meat or stuff like that, okay? Because then the people are going to say, look, he eats meat. We need to eat more meat as well. Although they are already eating enough meat. If you know what I'm saying, enough animal products already. So that's the kind of a problem that I have here. It's a little bit of a tricky situation. Oh no, I lost it again. Damn. This is so annoying. Why does it jump down all the time? I'm just gonna hop in back somewhere anyway. I found it again. Are there many beautiful women in Austria? Yeah, some. You ever climbed in the Basel Jura? No, I don't think so. Black people. What's your home gym? It's a gym in Vienna. It's called Edelweiss Center. Hashtag debate me. Come on, bro. Hangboarding im Hühnerstall. Yeah, could look like it, but actually this is not the Hühnerstall. Wie schwer bist du? How heavy are you? I am at this point like 64 kilograms or something, 63, 64. I did a 130-hour drive fast after seeing your video. Not bad, man. I'm just gonna do some cool down pull-ups here. It always feels so easy after the bonus weight. So let's see if we can pull off a little bit of a front lever here. Feels good. Feels good. 130-hour dry fast after seeing your video. Lost 9 kilograms, but regained 6 kilograms of water the day after. 6 kilograms? I don't believe that. Depending on how heavy you were before that, but 6 kilograms seems much too much. I mean, 6 kilograms of water, do you know how much that is? Overall, I feel like this is not a good strategy to lose weight compared to the, and there it stops. Man, the thing with fasting, we could go into that in another video, but fasting, maybe not dry fasting, okay? Maybe dry fasting is only for people who want to heal serious shit or for people who are looking for a challenge, okay? It's not necessarily the healthiest and the easiest way to do. The easiest way to do is fasting on water, and here especially salt water. So not plain water, but a little bit of salt, especially potassium chloride and sodium chloride added in there, okay? It's going to make the fast really easy, and it's going to make you lose weight steadily, keep the insulin really, really low, allows the body to get access to those fat stores by lowering your insulin to the rock bottom, okay? Because if your insulin is high all the time, and everything triggers insulin to some extent, okay? Even if you're putting an artificial sweetener on your tongue, your body is gonna sense that sweetness and cranks up your insulin. So even chewing some chewing gum during your fast is going to disrupt your fasting progress, okay? You want to keep your insulin down. And then you're not gonna ruin your metabolism as much as if you eating constantly but at a caloric deficit. I've talked about this in my video already, video that I did recently. Now I'm trying protein sparing modified fast. What the hell is that? Just don't drink water after dry fasting. Well, you should drink some water after dry fasting, definitely. But you could try going in with some coconut water, for example, that has a decent amount of minerals, and it's going to hydrate you a lot better than plain water. Man, somebody's gonna think I'm watching porn. Yeah, because I'm doing strange noises when hanging on this crazy freaking small edge with 93.6 kilograms. Love the stream, Manny, but please don't use them as a substitute for normal videos. No, definitely not. I'm just gonna, as I said, I'm just gonna try things out here. I want to see if the internet is good enough, and obviously it works, which is amazing. What do you think about Thulian perspective? And there it jumps down again. This freaking chat making me crazy. Sorry for the off topic. Thulian perspective. Some interesting stuff, some strange stuff, some, you know, you gotta really dig deep down into the rabbit hole to understand some of his stuff. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. On the subject of golfer's elbow, do you incorporate much elbow targeted antagonist prehab rehab work into your daily or weekly routine? If so, what are your go-to exercises? Honestly, what I did against my golfer's elbow, I did this stretch for 10 seconds after each session. I did this stretch for 10 seconds after each session. And then I'm also going to do this stretch again and try to turn my hand a little bit to get even more stretch into this area down there, okay? Turn it into one direction, turn it into another direction. You can also try taking a piece of wood like this, for example, and then simply try turning your arm, like twisting your arm, getting the torsion into your elbow. And that's gonna create kind of a stretching stimulus just in that specific area. And that's all I did. And I didn't do more because after my dry fast, I had the feeling that it already healed up quite a lot. As you know, with fasting, I've talked about this already, but fasting really crashes down your inflammation level in your body, okay? So whether that's good or bad is debatable, but when it comes to inflamed spots in your body like this, you're gonna not feel them during the fast. Once you're starting to eat again, you're gonna get this growth hormone and testosterone boost from the fasting. And then I think, that's my personal belief, it really cranks up the healing of these spots that were a little bit inflamed before you fasted, okay? And maybe I could heal it a little bit up like that, because now it almost doesn't hurt anymore, and it's getting better and better, even though I'm training like balls to the walls and going outdoor climbing all the time and stuff like that. So I think I'm already over it, to be honest. So let's see how it develops in the future. As with all my injuries that come steadily, I try to train them away, okay? Climb them away. Just never going into the pain zone, always staying below the pain zone, okay? Your body is telling you how much is too much and how much it needs, okay? You should not stop completely. That's another thing that I always say to people. Unless you're ripping something apart in some sort of sudden accident or something, you should not stop. Because if you're stopping, you're not gonna feel it at all anymore for a couple of times, like for 1-2 weeks that you're stopping. But it's also not gonna send blood and warmth and energy and nutrients to the spot that's hurting, okay, to the spot that needs to be repaired. So how it's gonna heal then, If you keep climbing, then you're always gonna have the blood flow. You're always gonna have the stimulus. Hey man, you need to grow. You need to grow. You need to heal. Okay, you're still necessary for this body. You need to grow. And this is how I trained my injuries away basically all the time, and it works all the time so far. Okay, I think we're going long enough for this stream already, guys. I'm finished with my session. I hope you enjoyed this first stream of this channel. I definitely enjoyed it. It's funny that it worked. I hope you're having a great time. I'm finishing this off here real quickly. I need to get to the gym and get some work done. Have a great day, guys. Maybe I'm gonna try to put this stream on the channel actually, so that people can access it later. It's the first test stream, so yeah. Bye, guys. Keep crushing. Keep it up. I'll see you soon in the next one.